This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a layout for Oahu and probably the only sunset pictures we have from our trip, which I know seems probably unusual because a lot of people go to Hawaii for the sunsets, but yeah, these are the only pictures that I have that really incorporate a sunset. So we're going to have some fun punching a frame and creating a layout that hopefully will feature these pictures in a way worthy of a Hawaiian sunset. Let's check out my workspace and get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and you'll recognize this as the last page that we did in the Oahu album. This was the hike at Waimea Falls, and we are going to progress from here just a short distance away to the North Shore, where we saw our probably our only real sunsets other than the first day that we were there, and occasionally we would see the sunset, but I didn't get any photos of a sunset other than this particular one. And I wanted to talk just a minute about these beautiful papers that Creative Memories has for us. This is one of the sheets from the Serene Waters Collection, and it's obviously a beautiful piece of paper. And when I see these beautiful pieces of paper come out of home office as a part of one of our collections, everybody gets really excited about these sheets, and I love them. I think they're gorgeous, but sometimes I have a hard time incorporating them into my album, and here's why. For this particular layout, I have photos that I have enlarged, and even if I didn't have photos that I had enlarged, I would want to try to put at least 3 photos on this half of a 2-page layout, right? And I wouldn't want to cover this up. They've got the main feature right in the middle of the page, and that's where the focus of my album, which is my photos, is going to go. So it's kind of sad for me in a way. There are some ways you could use this and not completely lose the featured artwork on the paper, and one is to go ahead and cut it in half and put it in the center of your 2-page layout, and then focus your photos around it. That's one way. Another way might be to use square photos, so a 3.5 by 3.5, 4 3.5 by 3.5 square photos would probably fit nicely on here, and you would still retain the sun setting right in the middle of the page. You would lose some of the other features, but you would still get the gist of the paper. So just some ideas for you of things you can do with some of the beautiful papers that come out, even if you're not wanting to hide them. I'm not going to use this one today because I'm going to utilize something that I worked on a while ago, and I'm going to use this piece of paper, which is very similar to the sunset paper. You've got the gradients of all the colors and the water and the sun, and so we're going to go with this one for today. But I have some punching I need to do on this one, because I'm actually going to incorporate this frame that I made using the Friendly Fish punch a while back. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you have probably seen the video that I did on how to make this Friendly Fish punch frame. And we're going to use it finally in an album. I've been excited about it and wanting to use it, but it just didn't have the right photos to put on it. And so today we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show you again how to make the Friendly Fish frame, and we're going to make a second one to go so that we have matching frames on either side of our layout. So let me go ahead and I'm just going to do that really quick, and then we will get this layout done. This one's a quick one today, so once we have this frame punched, it should go really fast. So here's our friendly fish punch. And we're going to, with any of our border maker punches that, so not a border maker system punch, but the border maker, or the border punches that have the marks on the front that are not a frame punch, so they don't have the lines on the side to indicate that they're intended to be used for a frame. Sometimes you can still use them for a really cute frame. This is not a frame punch, but we did use it for a cute frame. So keep in mind, and just play with your paper and see what you can come up with from our other frames, our other border punches, and see if maybe you can make a really fun and exciting, cool frame that maybe you might not have otherwise thought of making, right? Okay, so first I'm going to fold this over in a triangle, and I am going to go ahead and crease it through the middle. I don't normally like to do that, but for this particular procedure, it really is best. So I'm going to just go ahead and crease that. And I'm going to feed my paper in, and I'm going to leave just the tip of it showing right out the far side. All right, and I'm going to put it all the way up against the bumper in the back, and I'm going to punch. Okay, then I'm going to feed it through and match the pattern on the right, just like we would if we were just punching a single piece for a border. And we're going to punch it 3 times. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to punch it 3 times going in the other direction with the same amount of triangle or point showing out here on the edge. Feeding it through. And we're going to just punch it 3 times. You can see I didn't quite meet. It's odd when that happens, but you can just pull those long pieces off. I'll catch them in a little bit. All right, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and open this up very carefully, and we're going to fold it the other direction. So we're going to help these corners meet and our designs meet. Mine is not meeting exactly, but I think it'll still be okay. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go the other direction. So we're going to feed our triangle in going this way, and we're going to use or make our fish on this side meet or cover the blue field, cover the punched design, and we're going to punch it twice just to make sure we get all of that design or all of the triangle punched. Okay, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we're going to feed that in and cover our design best we can. Over here, make sure this is up on the back. And I've got some trimming I need to do there. There we go. All right. Now we have this square we can use in another layout somewhere down the line. So I'm just going to set that to the side, and I'm going to get rid of my punch confetti and grab my precision cutting scissors. Now we're going to do a couple things here. Obviously I had a couple of spots where my punch was maybe not as accurate as I wanted it to be, so I'm just going to kind of clean that up just a little and trim those little strays off. They remind me of stray hairs, like when you get a haircut and maybe the beautician missed a spot or something. Kind of what that's like. Okay, now I have a couple. I thought I had a couple on this side, but maybe not. All right, so we're going to take a look at the corners here, and you can see where these two fish, their noses come together, but then we've got this extra little something sticking out. So we're just going to cut that off and make it so that the fish is complete. Don't cut the folded part, just cut that little end piece that was sticking out there looking awkward. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, then we're going to check these other two corners carefully. This one has their tails coming together, so what we're going to do is just go ahead and carefully cut this off. We're not going to cut all of the fold off though. I'm going to cut so that the tail is more pointed. Can you see how that makes a point right there? You have to do it that way, otherwise you lose the fold and you'll only be connected by this little bitty spot right down here, which is not going to be enough. So this fish on the ends get an angular tail, just like that. Okay, so now when you open it up carefully, we've got our frame. And I need one more piece of navy cardstock, and then we will go ahead and get these frames put on. Okay. So I'm going to just grab my repositionable adhesive so that I don't have to worry about trying to be super careful about where my adhesive's going. I'm choosing to put my adhesive across the wider portion of the fish. So you've got that kind of flounder shaped fish that's sort of on the outside. And so I'm mainly putting my adhesive across that area just to make it a little bit easier to get a little more adhesion without having to cover the whole thing, because we don't need to cover the whole thing, right? Okay, so then we're going to, oh, this one had some additional trimming it needed and I didn't catch it, so give me just a second here. Right there and right there. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to center it the best I can. It's basically going to be about 1/8 of an inch in from the edge on either side, and from the bottom or the top. I'm putting this on upside down, so just bear with me a little bit. And since it is repositionable adhesive, that's really nice because we may need to adjust this just a little. Right. So yeah, actually it's going to be a little closer to the edge than I expected. So let's lift this side up. All right, so now I'm going to grab that second one, or the first one, actually, and we'll go ahead and get that one adhered as well. So you probably could go ahead and add your adhesive to your base sheet all around the edge, but then you're going to have to rub it off in the areas where it's not covered by the fish. So I just find it easier to go ahead and add my adhesive to my frame, and then that way I don't have to worry quite so much about it. All right. There we go. I do have some adhesive because my base sheet was underneath where I was adding my adhesive, which is not a good idea. But since it's repositionable, it's not that big of an issue. Here I'm seeing a couple more little stray pieces. So I'm just going to go ahead and clip those off. There's another one I missed. Wow, I missed a lot. Thought I got them all before, but apparently no. All right, so now we've got our 2 base sheets. And I'm going to go ahead and just adhere these to my pages so that that's done. Okay. Making sure I know which way is up. So all the way into the jeeping and across the bottom, nice and smooth. There's one. This one, let me move these photos out from underneath. Now, you may think, well, that's a lot to put on 2 facing pages, but let me just show you what we're going to do, because these photos are going to cover a bit of this page. So we're going to just have the fish and the color kind of peeking out the back. Something like that. Then we've got something like that, I think, is what we're going for. And then what I thought I would do is add some, I've got these cool palm trees, which I think were from Vitamin C, laser, the laser pack from Vitamin C. And I thought maybe what I would do is just sort of add those in for a little bit of extra color. And let's see, maybe what we need is that, and then we can put dark one over there and a light one over here. And I'm just gonna swap these again. I know I swapped them before, but I'm gonna swap them again. So that I can add this palm tree in over here and not block or not have too many palm trees right in a row. If that makes sense. And then I will only have this small little area down here to add a little bit of a title, but we can make that a little bit bigger by moving our photos just a smidge. All right, I think that's good. We could mat the photos, but I really don't think we need to. Sometimes I mat photos, sometimes I just don't. I think I'm just gonna put them down without that. So let's go ahead and get these adhered. Alright, so then I'm going to grab my foam squares and we'll go ahead and pop up our palm trees, give them a little lift. Still don't have any that are super tiny like I made right here by just cutting one of the small ones in half, but that's okay. I can continue cutting the small ones in half if I need to. Let's raise this up a little bit so we don't cover the canoe people completely. All right, we have one more palm tree. Oop. think the big ones are too big for these single palm trees. So we're just gonna use our smaller ones. Loved the sunset. The serenity of the ocean is really special to me, but something about watching the sun go down is just so relaxing. And there was a storm kind of coming in also, so that the clouds just make for a lot of dynamic shifts in this. But I think that's all I'm going to do. It really doesn't need a lot more. I will probably make a title and do a tiny bit of journaling right here, or possibly a little bit over here. But that's all this page is going to get, and I think it's all it needs. So a quick layout for you today. I hope you like it. I hope it's something that you can use, and I hope you'll experiment with some other punches and try to make some really cute decorative frames with your border punches, even the ones that are not designed to be used as frames. Just experiment. Find some inexpensive paper that you're not going to worry about, and see what you come up with. You never know. You might find that you make something really, really cool and unique. And I would love it if you'd post a photo of that on my Facebook page so I could see it, if you do get creative and find something unique that you want to share with all of us. All right, thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.